Hello, I'm Kendra Cook, your host for the DCTV Daily News program out of Dove Creek, Colorado. It's brought to you by the Dolores County Broadcasting Network with support from the Southwest Colorado TV Translator Association. That's the special district association responsible for bringing the area free-to-access TV stations over the air by antenna. This is a community TV station. If there's a news story or event information that you would like to share, contact us at 970-677-4119. Leave me a message or email dcbnnews@gmail.com. And if you're a business or organization, we welcome you to find out about sponsorship opportunities. They run banners or video segments on the channel, and this is the transmission for February 23rd, 2021, DCTV Daily News. Recent USDA hemp rulings improve but still restrict farmers. That, according to an article in Cannabis Tech. Carolee Fletcher writes that it's a small step in the right direction. New USDA rulings for hemp take effect in March. America is simultaneously one of the most progressive and more backward countries, especially on drug laws. Today, we can celebrate the new USDA rulings for hemp cultivation and production set to take effect in March, which will protect growers but keep the limit for THC content in hemp at 0.3%. The USDA published the final rule in January. States such as Kentucky are pushing for a 1% limit on THC, similar to what Swiss standards are. Unfortunately, there has been little progress on that front. Instead, growers can enjoy additional alternative options for disposing of hemp and a higher threshold for negligence. Currently, the threshold for negligence is 0.5% THC concentration, and after the rule takes effect, the threshold will be 1% THC concentration. Anything beyond that will be considered a negligent violation. Whatever is below must be remediated or disposed of. The remediation industry is ripe for a boom, considering the rising demand for hemp and hemp derivatives. Odd that the cannabis industry will reach the point where it is purposefully lowering cannabinoid content, yet market restrictions and demands make for innovation. Each grower would be allowed one negligent violation per year and 3 negligent violations in a 5-year period. More than either, and the cultivator will be banned from the legal market for a certain period. While these are still regulations, they are stiff regulations. They are still more relaxed than previous expectations. What happens with hemp between 0.3% and 1% THC concentration? Cultivators can mulch, compost, shred, or otherwise dispose of the biomass. While this will likely not result in as much profit as a harvest, it could cut into soil costs. An additional cause for thought is the biomass that will be a byproduct of remediation or disposal. While this material could be burnt or otherwise wasted, it also could be converted into concrete, plastics, and other hemp derivatives. As the industry ends up with more and more biomass every year, and as options for disposal grow, savvy companies would be wise to use the unwanted biomass to profit. While advocates won't be seeing the rise to a 1% limit on THC content that they would have liked to see, the USDA's ruling could be great news. As the hemp industry grows to be more mainstream, clear rules and regulations are needed. One of the primary issues has been interstate travel, as several shipments of federally legal hemp have been seized before because they look like marijuana. Gaining rules that apply across the nation is one way to ensure transportation safety. Unfortunately, the bill included a requirement for all labs to be registered with the Drug Enforcement Agency. However, this requirement will not need to be met until January 22. Some have assumed that this is because the USDA knows that they might not have gotten it right and may have to change that provision. Other notable changes include altering the harvest and testing period from 15 to 30 days. Thus, the testing agencies will have more time to ensure accurate test samples from all cultivators. Additionally, the final rule will implement testing rules such as that testing must include samples from the flower. Their reasoning for this is that because THC is most likely to be in the flower, it should be tested directly rather than performing a whole plant test. As for remediation options, first, the cultivators can start by simply, quote, removing and destroying flower material while retaining stalk, stems, leaf material, and seeds. Otherwise, cultivators can shred the entire plant and retest it for compliance. Visit the USDA's webpage for additional information on remediation and disposal regulations. And whenever a cheap material is available, big money is to be made. Hot hemp may seem like a tragedy, but it will also be a gold mine for those who can either remediate the crop or make use of the biomass. Over the 21st century, the American cannabis landscape has changed completely. Now, additional efforts are being made to reschedule cannabis, decriminalize cannabis, and help include cannabis in the world of pharmacology. No matter what happens with pressure like this, something has to give. Cultivators and consumers have little to worry about. The industry won't be going anywhere. Rather, we should view the industry with excitement and ambition. While it might be slow, the law is increasingly on the side of cannabis. So, entrepreneurs and businesses will see significant gains on all of their successful forays into the world of cannabis and hemp. Our new DCTV news program, DC Talk Around Town, will be featuring the local Dove Creek Dolores County hemp attempts and developments to date coming up on the series. And now, let's take a look at the local weather through the end of February. We'll continue to see the warming sun melt away much of the snow and ice covering, with a cycle of mud during the afternoons and then freezing up overnight. No new precipitation is in the immediate forecast as we finish off the short month of February this week. Today, Tuesday, sunny with a high near 45 degrees with southeast winds 5 to 10 miles an hour becoming northwest in the afternoon. Tonight, partly cloudy and a low around 21 with north winds around 5 miles an hour. For Wednesday, sunny with a high near 43 degrees, north-northeast winds at 5 to 10 miles an hour becoming south-southwest in the afternoon. For Wednesday night, partly cloudy and a low around 19 with north-northwest wind 10 to 15 miles an hour, a little cooler. And then for Thursday, mostly sunny and a high near 37 with those north winds at 10 to 15 miles an hour, bringing in that chill factor. And into Thursday night, mostly clear and a low around 19. For Friday, sunny and a high near 41. Friday night, mostly clear and a low around 22. Saturday, mostly sunny with a high near 44. Saturday night, partly cloudy and a low around 21. And for Sunday, mostly sunny with a high near 40. Sunday night, partly cloudy with a low around 19. And now, back to our news. Space. The final frontier, or so the Star Trek program opening goes, but are we possibly not focusing on the big picture of what is happening in the greater space we may live in or near within our perceived reality? The Mars missions, yes, multiple missions, allegedly went without much notice during the impeachment theater on most TV programs, so briefly let's catch up on what they say is happening up there. Recent headlines range from life from Earth could temporarily survive on Mars, that according to phys.org, PHYS. IBT asks, is there fungi on Mars? By the way, fungus is the next big thing. From health to energy, the fungus among us will be very important in our future. And from space.com, they wrote that NASA's Perseverance rover, which landed on the surface of Mars last Thursday, February 18th, just beamed down its first panoramic image of the Martian surface, allegedly. The agency reported that on February 22nd. The car-sized rover snapped the panorama February 20th, just 2 days after landing in Jezero Crater, an ancient lake on the red planet's surface, using its onboard navigation cameras, or navcams. The panorama was created here on Earth with 6 individual images taken by the Interplanetary Robots camera. Perseverance, or nicknamed Percy, as some of them call the craft, landed last Thursday afternoon. Mission control of NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory in Pasadena, California, received the signal at 3:55 p.m. Eastern Time, confirming that the rover had successfully touched down on the Martian surface as part of the agency's Mars 2020 mission. The confirmation arrived about 11 minutes after Perseverance actually landed, because that's how long it took the radio signal to travel from Mars to Earth, they say. Though during the moon landing, Houston spoke directly to the astronauts without a second delay. Things that make you go, Anyway, as always, think for yourself. The information on China's Mars landing seems to be buried in the search engines. You can find on space.com the China National Space Administration, CNSA, released that image on February 5th, demonstrating that the powerful high-resolution camera on the Tianwen-1 spacecraft is working properly. After entering orbit, Tianwen-1 will begin to prepare for landing attempts, an attempt of the mission's rover. The orbiter will begin imaging the main candidate landing site within the huge impact basin Utopia Planitia, to the south of NASA's Viking 2 landing site, ready for a landing attempt around May. It continues by stating Tianwen-1 launched in July and will arrive at Mars a day after the United Arab Emirates HOPE mission, and a week before NASA's Perseverance rover. Previously, they also wrote up a summary on all of the attempts and countries vying for a seat at the Martian table. Mars may be close to Earth, but it is a challenging target. Out of 49 missions up to December of 2020, only about 20 had been successful. Not all of these failures were attempts by newbies or early endeavors. In 2016, the European Space Agency's Schiaparelli Mars Explorer crashed on the surface. Also, ongoing technical issues have forced ESA and its Russian partner Roscosmos to postpone its next mission, ExoMars, until 2022. China is not the only country at Mars. On February 9th, as we mentioned, a UAE, United Arab Emirates probe named HOPE achieved the same insertion maneuver. It's not a direct competitor to the Chinese mission. The probe will just orbit the planet to study the Martian weather, but NASA's Perseverance rover definitely is. To further raise the stakes for China, among the handful of countries that have managed the notoriously tricky insertion maneuver into orbit, there is one Asian country there already, India, China's direct competitor in space and as on Earth as well. The Indian Mars Orbiter mission, aka MOM, and also known as Mangalyaan, reached Mars in 2014, the first to make it at its maiden mission. This is one reason why a successful outcome of Tianwen-1 is so important for China's status as the new space power. It's a way to reassert its space dominance over its neighbor. Unlike for India, it's not the first time China has attempted a mission to Mars. The previous one, Yinghuo-1, in 2011 failed on launch. However, on this occasion, the odds for success look a lot better. But there are bigger things at stake. The development effort behind China's space sector is still largely government-funded and military-led. According to the U.S.-China Economic and Security Review Commission, a congressional commission of the U.S. government, China considers space as a, quote, tool of geopolitical and diplomatic competition. It is clear that together with cyberspace, the cosmos has become a fundamental new war-fighting domain where the U.S. are the main, but not the only, adversary. That means commercial considerations come second for many countries, even though they have become increasingly important in the overall scheme of things. To bring this information all the way back to a local angle here in Colorado, the Journal posted a Colorado Sun article on what is happening with the official location of the presidential Trump initiation of a Space Force headquarters as part of the military. Yes, Space Force Command Central was presumed by many arrogant Coloradans to be obviously located in Colorado. Unfortunately for job seekers, they were wrong. The powers that be chose Alabama. Now it seems there are urgings to reconsider that selection and designation, and they write in the Journal, the Inspector General's Office of the U.S. Department of Defense announced on Friday it will investigate the Trump administration's decision to relocate the U.S. Space Command headquarters from Colorado Springs to Alabama. It was in Colorado on a temporary basis. The office says it will look into whether the decision, quote, complied with Department of Defense and Air Force policies, and whether, quote, objective and relevant scoring factors were used in making the decision. I guess they get to look at a recall. The Trump administration announced on January 13th that the Space Command headquarters would be in Huntsville, Alabama, infuriating Republican and Democratic officials alike in Colorado. Leading politicians, including our governor and all 9 members of Colorado's congressional delegation, asked the Biden administration to reconsider the decision and investigate whether the Trump administration choice was politically motivated. Space Command headquarters was temporarily located, as I said, in Colorado Springs. The city was slated to host the headquarters until at least 2026, when it would receive a permanent home, they presumed. Colorado leaders have been working to secure the headquarters for years. The command is expected to bring more than 1,400 troops and civilian workers, and proponents of keeping the headquarters in Colorado say it would mesh well with the state's large aerospace industry. It is imperative that we thoroughly review what I believe will prove to be a fundamentally flawed process that focused on bean counting rather than American space dominance. That said U.S. Representative Doug Lambert, a Colorado Springs Republican. So while we bicker on issues that may never have a resolution here in this realm of America, the bigger picture of the cosmos with billions and billions of unknowns is where our attention may need to be directed. And here's another headline involving open borders. Contaminated meat from China imports soar. Fortunately, this border had policing efforts on top of the situation, but how much more pours into the U.S. competing with our cattle and our other meat producers? The National Pulse reported Customs and Border Protection experienced a massive uptick, nearly 100%, of meat contraband imported to the U.S. from China. Quote, in calendar year 2020, in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic, the number of shipments containing prohibited pork, chicken, beef, and duck products arriving from China intercepted by U.S. Customs and Border Protection, agricultural specialists located in Los Angeles, nearly doubled compared with the previous year, CBP notes. In Los Angeles alone, from January 1st to December 31st, 2020, CBP issued 1,049 Emergency Action Notifications, or EAN, compared to 527 in 2019, constituting a 99% increase, almost 100%. EANs are used in response to meat contraband attempting to breach the U.S. and require either destruction or re-exportation. CBP agriculture specialists found most of the unmanifested animal products commingled in boxes of headphones, door locks, kitchenware, LCD tablets, trash bags, swim fins, cell phone covers, plastic cases, and household goods in a clear attempt to smuggle the prohibited meats, CBP summarizes. Many imported meats from China are, quote, affected by African swine fever, classical swine fever, Newcastle disease, foot and mouth disease, highly pathogenic avian influenza, and swine vesicular disease. This in part is why there is new clamoring to get country of origin, known as cool labeling, back on meats, so you know where your meat is sourced from, and additional mechanisms to ease the direct sale of animals for harvesting to local area consumers are also being considered. From the methane wars to our foreign competitors, the cattle industry days may be numbered if those on the side of petri dish meat have their way, which trickles down to hay farmers as well. You have been warned. Inaction is an action. A reminder that the Dolores County Youth Mental Health Group is offering vouchers for up to 6 one-hour free mental health care visits. If you're up to age 21, living in Dolores County, and are having trouble dealing with stress, please give Angie a call at 677-2250, extension 6, or pick up vouchers at a list of agencies and outlets in Dolores County that are listed on the banner graphic on the TV and listed on our Facebook page. And to catch this program online, visit our Facebook page, which is DCTV Daily News. Or you can also find us on YouTube. Both you can follow to or subscribe to easily and join in on the conversation. This is your local community TV station, so if you have something you'd like to share, contact us. The email is dcbnnews@gmail.com, or call us and leave me a message at 970-677-4119. Thanks for tuning in to DCTV Daily News. If you like the program, please do like and follow us on Facebook and share it with your friends and family. This has been a production of DCTV for the DCTV Daily News program out of Dove Creek, Colorado, USA. I'm Kendra Cook. Be well and keep thinking for yourself.